Hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear the faint pitter-patter of the rain on the rooftop. Today's instrument is the human voice, our own voice. And it's so interesting because many of us have a lot of hang-ups about that. I don't think many of us have a problem speaking, but when it comes to vocalization or just using our voice in a kind of a singing way, a lot of us shut down. And for good reason, because many of us have been told when we attempted to sing, perhaps as a young child, that we didn't have a good voice, or perhaps we were even told to shut up, and that clammed us down and shut off this throat chakra area here. And using the human voice in a loving, sonorous way starts to open up this center and actually opens up all the centers of our body in a harmonious way, and actually goes to every cell of our body. So the human voice is very, very important, and the tone that we use, all of that goes towards our health and our well-being. The voice, our voice box, is our main outlet of our expression of this human instrument. And the harmonic self is all about tuning up the human instrument, the human being that we are. We can look at ourselves perhaps in a Sufi way, or like some of Rumi's poetry, as a reed or as a flute through which the beloved blows its song of love. And we can also look at ourselves as a stringed instrument as well, as we look at the fascia network throughout our whole body. And we can talk about that in future Harmonic Self episodes. We'll let the helicopter pass over as part of the soundscape here. So what we're doing is making ourselves as best an instrument as we can for our health and well-being, but also because we are this vibratory field that is putting out a vibration into this world. And that's what we're doing with the harmonic self. We're bringing ourselves into harmony and then radiating that out into the world. Now, many of us have had hang-ups about the harmonization, as I mentioned before. And here's the thing, the most important rule of all is we're not doing this to sound good. And during this time, you're probably by yourself, so you can actually be completely unself-conscious about the sounds that you're making. So please make this fun and really go for it, and we'll see how we go with it. It is a fun process. You just have to follow along and see if you can get the sounds to go through your whole body and being and out through your center. And as always, at the end, we'll take the journey inwards into the inner sound, the sound current of God, and go inward towards that. So again, we want to create the energy field here. So we ask for the highest and purest light from the highest and purest source to surround and fill each one of us and the space we're in at this time. We center ourselves, of course, for the highest good, and we center ourselves in our heart at this time, into that Christ center, and allow that center just to expand and vibrate. And we can think of someone we love more than anything, or a pet, or a scene from nature, or even a religious or spiritual figure. We can also have that awareness of what we're grateful for at that time, and it creates that heart resonance inside, so important in what we're doing. We also ask for the consciousness of the mystical traveler to guide us on our inner journey and to release any negativity that can be lifted from us right now for the highest good. Transmuted, released, dissolved by this consciousness and taken back into the nothingness from which it came for the highest good. And really go with this, give it a shot, because grace is being manifest to us at this time. So allow yourself just to let go into it. And as you know, I just dedicate these episodes to my spiritual teacher, John Roger, and ask that his energy and presence infuse all that we're doing here for our highest good. And at this time, we send the light to whoever is in need of it in this world of ours, in this current situation. Just think of them in your mind and just say their names out loud or in your head. And just know that the light goes to them for their highest good. You can even say, light for the highest good. It doesn't have to be a complicated thing. Just I ask that the light go to whoever it is for their highest good, and we let it go. We're sending out that pure vibration of light and love. And now of sound. Now the sound can be very simple, and it can really start with just simple vowels like A, E, I, O, U. So let's start with A. This is a good place to start. And we can just simply vocalize A. Allow yourself to exhale. Another beautiful thing about this, it really helps the breath as well. So once again, we'll do another A. Now sometimes we can take that A and move it into an Ah, kind of an AH, but it's like Ah. And we can take the A and then move it into an Ah. So you notice that I kind of bent the shape of the letter a little bit. You can see if you can feel the vibration and adjust the pitch of your voice to vibrate down to your feet and on the top of your head. If we take E, we can do that. And oftentimes when we wake up in the morning and we feel a little off kilter, we can do the E sound, taking it from the top of our head down to our feet and then up to the top of our head again, like this. Or from our feet up to the top of our head and down through our feet again. If you do that, and then you can even sometimes make a gesture of it. And that has the effect of just really enabling us to ground ourselves. And then of course, A, E, I. See how that feels. Now an O. A U. And sometimes U is expressed as ooh. So we'll do an ooh and then just be quiet for just a few seconds, just to see how it's feeling in your body. We had a little assistance from the car alarm, and it's all part of the sonic landscape that we're in. And one of the skills that we learn in the Harmonic Self is to vibrate in harmony to the sounds around us, so that they're not bothering us. It's just another sound, another vibration. That car alarm was just as valid as a tuning fork in many ways, if we can use it that way. Now, those sounds, those vowels, are just very, I think they're called phonics, really. I'm not quite an expert, but it's a phonic when you can just, something like a K or a T requires a more percussive sound, T or K. And so they're not quite in the same realm, they're consonants. But there are some consonants that can actually kind of come between the two. They're not vowels, but they can still be used to extend. And those are the N's and the M's. And it's kind of interesting to close a loop with an M. So we could just say, and an M would be an so it'd really be a humming sound. So we could just say, for example, the humming really creates a peacefulness, and that's no accident. When we're humming, we're toning our vagus nerve. The vagus nerve runs from our cranium all through our organs, all the way down through our body. One nerve, so the word vagus means wandering, and it goes all the way into our gut. So there's a direct line from our gut to our brain, and from our brain to our gut. And most of it is going this way up. So our gut is communicating a lot of what is going on to our brain. So really, if we can just relax in our gut area, we'll find ourselves more relaxed. And by toning the vagus nerve, we enter into the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of our nervous system that tells us to rest and relax, sometimes called the relaxation response. So just humming. And yesterday we mentioned it with the tuning forks, that we can just, even if we don't have tuning forks, just hum and try and find that relaxing tone that we can do. We could take an A and an oo and an M. Or an O and an M. So it's not too far to go from these vowel sounds and these M or N sounds into what for thousands or millions of people for thousands of years has been a sacred tone, the Om or the Om. If you go to a yoga studio, you will have undoubtedly chanted the Om or the Om. In the world that I inhabit, the main tone is the hue, the HU. And this is a tone, an ancient sacred name, a Sanskrit word actually for God. And it incorporates all tones, the H and the U. And it can take us from this physical world through all levels of consciousness into who we truly are, and even beyond that, into what we could call the heart of God. So the hue is a very, very valuable tone and sacred for us. So we can use the vowels to tune up our body in whatever mood we're in. We can do it in a singing way, or we can use it in a sacred way, an inner way, like hey. Or if we're just feeling really tired or frustrated or like, oh my God, we can just go ah. It feels good. I mean, really, letting it out feels really good. And it doesn't have to be loud. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. It can be ah, ah. Or it can be just the humming can be so internal, where you can be in a crowd of people and they probably won't notice. You can just be I don't know if you could hear that, but I just dropped the note down a little bit so that the humming kind of went more into my lower belly and all the way down into my feet. And so the humming can be resonant through our whole bodies. Now we're going to chant the hue. We're going to end with the hue because I want you to be able to take this inside of you. And now we're going into the other doors. Remember we talked about the 10th door. So that's, if we go through the forehead, in the center of our head, just take a needle and put it through my head and another one that way. Where they meet, usually in the region of the pineal gland, and also on top of our crown chakra as well. So we can use the hue to vibrate those centers and then allow ourselves to take off. And this is where the mystical traveler just becomes so useful for us as a transportation into the higher realms and levels of consciousness. So it's actually a very interesting journey. So we're going to chant the hue. I'll just do one so you get the idea. We could also chant H-U. See what fits for you. But even me doing this with you, I can feel tremendous change in my body and my mood, actually. I was in a pretty good mood before, but now I'm kind of almost in an elevated mood. And I don't know if you can see the difference in my face. I don't know if there is a difference in my face, but I would guess that there would be, because as we begin to kind of create this vibration, we kind of move into an expansive state. It's really wonderful, and it's always at hand. Remember, this is your most valuable instrument. I've been playing some exotic instruments, but really, this is precious. And you always have this percussiveness as well. If you need a bit of percussion, the body likes vibration. So, and this is actually a very, very good idea to just open up the chest area a little bit, by the way. So we're going to chant 5 hues, and then we're going to go into silence, and then you can just take it away for the highest good. Again, before I do these things, I like to once again ask for the light for the highest good, for the mystical traveler consciousness to guide us on our inner journey for the highest good. He